Absence.
None, Chair.
Good. And are members happy to allow me to sign the published record of the meeting of the 4th of July?
Agreed, Chair.
Thank you very much. Remind members of 106 Local Government Finance Act. If there's is there any items on the
None, Chair.
None tonight. And obviously remind members of disclosures of interest if there are any. We have no business not covered by the current forward plan general exception. And the next item is down to me as executive leader. And the first item is sorry? Oh, was there? Sorry, there's a previous decision fee. I did ring out the minutes. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, so the first item is the consultation white paper fire and rescue service. And as all members know, at its meeting held on the 19th of July, Council were very clear with a single voice in rejecting the government's proposals for bringing the fire and rescue service under the control of the Police and Crime Commissioner. I would therefore ask the executive to instruct officers in responding to the government's consultation to ensure that the will of the council is expressed firmly and unequivocally against the proposals that are before us this evening. Is that agreed? Thank you very much. Yes, David, sorry.
Sorry, it's an attempt to be helpful. I was only going to suggest that the comments of the chair of the Fire Authority at paragraph 14, referring to a single point of failure, it seems to me to be quite a strong point. You might want to include it in the response that you're sending.
Item 14, the chair of the, yeah, we don't have a problem with that. No, we'll include that, David. Okay, the next item is item 3.2, and this is an item, oh no, it's not. It's, yeah, of course, yeah. Has anybody else got an item in the dart? No? Okay. As members know, the Luton Dart is soon to move from being a construction project to a fully operational passenger transport business. The Board of Directors of Luton Rising has taken the view that it would make sound business sense for the Luton Dart to be operated by a separate company owned by Luton Rising. This is partly to ensure that risks are controlled and limited, but more importantly to enable that company relentlessly to focus on safety, security and the highest standards of customer service, free of distractions of other parts of the business. The creation of a subsidiary company is a matter that is reserved to the shareholder, which is why it is here before us this evening. The executive is therefore recommended to approve the proposal in principle, with any final approval at a future meeting of the executive being subject to Luton Rising producing a business case, examining the options and a business plan for the Luton Dart as set out in the report. Are there any questions? Are members in agreement with that recommendation? Thank you very much. We now move on to, there's one item of special urgency under item 4. That I believe is over to yourself, Fatima.
A lease was entered in 2013 for a 20-year period to supply street lighting controls. This was in two parts. The company was Harvard Engineering Limited. First part was the supply of all the electronics controls for 15,000 street lights. Second part was for the backroom control, warranty replacements, and general management of the system. In 2017, Harvard asked for the first part to be assigned to Siemens Financial Service Limited. This was referred to legal and finance and was approved. The second part remained with Harvard. 1 year later, in 2018, it was announced that Harvard had gone into receivership, leaving us with no control of the system, no warranty on parts failures. The whole of the system was used to verify our street lights, energy consumption done on declaration, not on a meter. A company, Lucy Engineering of Oxford, offered us a backroom solution to turn the lights on and off, allowing us access to the data to be able to complete energy demand returns. This was not a long-term solution as components were already failing, leaving us with failed streetlights with no space availability. As part of the capital investment into LED streetlights, the Harvard system needed to be removed. The controls do not work on the new lights. We began the installation of individual controls with no central control. This is now largely completed with just few areas. Just few areas left, 99% completed on highway areas. This report set out to give the reasons why we should end the contract with Siemens. Legal confirmation shows we are liable until 2033 to finalize the complete lease payments. Members are asked to agree to the recommendations. Approve the proposed closure of the Siemens financial service contract. Confirm the use of 1.223 million from 2021 to 2023 general contingency to meet the cost of settlement agreement as approved by the executive in the revenue outrun report on the 4th of July 2022. Agree that the audit and the risk team be asked to review the process that resulted in this area lease being entered into originally with Harvard Engineering Limited under contract arrangements. Agree the report to be exempt from calling under categories 2 and 3 on the basis that council would likely to suffer financial prejudice and that the decision would not be capable of being implemented at all, as the deadline is this Friday, 29th of July.
Are there any questions? Tom?
I've no problem with the actual recommendation, but the original paperwork we saw a few weeks ago said about taking the service in-house. But it's not in this report anywhere about taking the service in-house. Can any of the officers tell me why it's changed?
I don't believe that this report was to cover the legal service in-house. Can you use the mic? Sorry, whilst you're there.
No.
Sorry, can I try that?
That's it.
That's it. We're there. I don't believe this report was intended to cover the bringing the street lighting service in-house. This was purely and simply the removal of the Siemens contract, which we're tied into until 2032.
I think that's fair because this is special urgency, Tom, to get something done by the 29th. There's nothing to stop something coming back. I'm just saying this is a specific report. Well, we'll make note of that now. Okay. Okay. Okay, Steve, thank you. Are there any other questions? David? And then
Thank you, Hazel. Just to make sure that I fully understand what's going on here. Does this mean that from now on, each individual street light will be entirely controlled by the light sensor that it's got on its top?
Yes, that's correct. Each one has a photoelectric cell to turn the light on and off.
Okay. Rob?
Just a couple of points, really. Firstly, this is the early settlement of this lease is the most financially beneficial way of dealing with this contract. But I just wanted to say on the third recommendation, we agreed as an audit and risk team to be asked to review the process that resulted in this lease being entered into originally with Harvard Engineering Limited under contract arrangements. It also appears in 2017 that when the problems arise, when it went over to the Siemens Financial Services, and there didn't seem to be any checks there at all from what was saying in item 4. There was some legal were dealing with it. The audit and risk team, will they look into that as well? Are we taking that's taking the whole thing into consideration so we can see what happened on that transfer as well? Thank you.
You all right, Rob? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Are we happy to agree this special urgency item? Thank you very much. We now move, there's no references from other committees, no recommendations from scrutiny, and we have no petitions. So we now move on to the inclusive growth section and item 8, which is the performance report.
You have in front of you the corporate performance report. It compiles and presents both quarterly and annual service data, which allows performance to be monitored and discussed at CLMT, overview and scrutiny OSB, and executive price headlines being published to staff and citizens. You can see it's quite a large report. People got questions at this moment in time. I don't know if I can answer them, but I can certainly take them away. Thank you.
Are there any questions from anybody? Comments?
Just a-
Comment, Alison?
Yeah, just a comment to say, I really like the format. The dashboard is very visible, very clear with graphs and information. So it's a right information, not too much in it. And so just want to thank the officers for getting it right.
Is it approved by everyone? Agreed, thank you. We now move on to item 9 and sustainable development. Back to yourself, Fatima.
This purpose of this report is to request that executive approve a temporary road fuel allowance for PTU external contractors under the conditions outlined in the report. The council has, just a little background, the council, as part of its statutory duties within the Education Act 1996, has specific duties to offer free home to school transport to students with special education needs. Currently, the council, as part of its duty, provides transport for over 800 special education needs clients and a further 100 adults social care clients using over 200 vehicles each morning and afternoon to over 70 different locations in and around the town. All vehicles, whether they be internally or externally operated, have a suitably trained driver and passenger assistant on board to assist with clients. Since September 2021, road fuel prices have steadily increased, and in the last 5 months, diesel costs have risen by 28%. Similar increases have also been introduced by fuel suppliers for the low carbon GTL fuel used by the Luton's own fleet vehicles, citing that 5% increase provided by CBC for all transport contractors. We will monitor forecourt prices each month using the PEIS fuel pricing data and set out to contractors the basis for any additional monthly payment. We will review the payment each month and will report them separately to ensure so that they are shown in the budget monitoring process. If agreed, it is proposed that 5% allowance is paid initially for the summer term, April to July, total cost estimated at 78,000 on separate monthly invoices and is subject to a regular internal review with finance and corporate and service directors.
Thank you, Fatima. Are there any questions? Comments? Yes, Rob.
Yeah, just a comment really. Obviously, this is a statutory requirement and there's been allowances made for this in the budget, but the good thing that it's going to be reviewed on a regular basis. So I just want to make that aware to everybody this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Happy to agree? Thank you very much. We now move, can I take the